collaborating together, being on the same team, just and then everyone just kind of rushes out. Obviously, the little lag portion of it, but again, like the idea of what I'm seeing, it was like, dude, like this can really build like a really good, solid community for a lot of people that are really just whether if you're new to the space or new into the game as well, like you have people there are going to probably support you and help you along that way. And I think that you guys are going to do a wondrous job with that. And I would love. I'm so excited to see the space battles. If you guys are going to have that, that PvP portion, obviously the racing, dude. I'm all for it. Like I said, I was telling Ellie, I was like, I'm all for it. You guys know what you're doing. I'm just waiting because again, that's for Web3. It's like we have to wait, right? Like we know that you guys are developing. You guys are early stage. This is a technical test that was stressing the servers to see how much you guys can handle. And I was actually really impressed that the servers didn't crash. Like it was literally going through the whole thing, even though it was kind of buggy but it was still going through the whole thing. And literally, I was impressed, even though, again, the connection was that the only issue with me. But other than that, like the game would have probably played just as well as I played in solo.
Awesome, man. Yeah, no, I appreciate all of those kind words. I was there playing with everyone else, and this was a very early access technical test of not only the network connectivity and the partnership that we have with Metagravity, but it was also just figuring out where we have deficiencies in the way that we have the game logic coded. It sounds like this was actually more on the client side, so the way that we were interpreting and representing information that was being broadcast across the network. So we're going to do this again next week. It should be a bit better, maybe materially better. Hard to say, but
right.
yeah, I mean, this was the very first of its kind, man, and 170 people in one server that are all shooting at each other. It was just really cool that we could pull people together more than anything else for this particular test.
Right, and I like I was saying is like I just so proud of the fact that like there's a game that I'm able to see all those players on the same map, even though like again with lag, like everybody was there, right? You saw the player count, you know that people were there and they're flying. Yes, yeah. I felt like okay, I'm flying and I got killed. I'm like, what happened? Maybe some people had better latency than I did, but like all in all, like you just know that like yeah, you guys are building something great, and I'm really excited to see what it's like. And also, I have to also say too, because again, you're not the first one that did it, because Shrapnel was also another company when they first did their first launch of the open for all the the extraction holders. They had the same deal. It's like literally within like 4 or 6 hours of the game test, like they literally like they couldn't even launch the game the first day because everyone was trying to get it at once and things were crashing, and so they had the issues as well. So again, like I know that there's always gonna. I know it wasn't probably on your guys' side, but it obviously was that third party that's trying to connect all these different it pings all the IPs all into one, and so that that makes sense.
It actually seems like it was more some elements of the UI that were being replicated that caused more of the issue. I don't think that this was a Metagravity issue. I think this was a client side issue, and there was also a lot of discussion around replication using multi-threading versus single threading, and so for the most part, a lot of like the pauses that you saw, the skipping that you saw in it was probably because Unreal Engine blueprints are using a single core, if not a single thread. And so you're not able to maximize your CPU. It's like maxing out on a single core or a single thread. And so, yeah, and I think that was the big bottleneck. But again, this was really a first of its kind, the first that it's ever been attempted, and we're trying to bring a lot of people into a single instance, a single world, and to get 170 people into the showroom today was genuinely pretty promising, and I think it has a long way to go, but we're pulling a lot of data from this and a lot of information from this. I haven't even seen the full, quote unquote post-mortem of how it went. We know that there were issues, but there's a lot of excitement and confidence on the team that we're just going to be able to overcome those and make it better every single week. We make it better.
Yeah, I definitely have to give it to the community because again, like when it comes to those games of like having some type of issue when it comes to like lag or anything like that, like you could tell that the people in the community really like the game and they want to see you thrive. And
Yeah.
you definitely built a really solid community because again, I was in the Discord chat and just chatting with them, and people were having fun, even lagging, and I was
Yeah.
laughing too. Like we were just all having a good time, and I think that's one of the things that you won't get in a lot of communities or games out there in general is that people still will enjoy the craziness or like the technicalities of things, and they
Hmm.
still want you to thrive because they know that again, like me for instance, I know that you guys are going to build something really solid. It's going to be more fluid. Maybe the next time or the next time after that, right? You guys are going to learn from the things that are not working or didn't work or whatever. So like I said, I think it was just a fun filled time, even if it was laggy, but still I think it was. I think, like I said, I know like the road ahead is brighter for you guys.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
I
No,
definitely find some love. Right now, no, right now, Zaro Gala has said that you're doing great and congratulations for everything.
oh, thank you. Can I, do we see these messages anywhere or are they on?
My stream.
Yeah, it's on the
I'm
restreams.
Yeah, I'm trying to update my Star Atlas because I thought because it worked yesterday, it will work today. It's not the case. So you boys can play. I'm just here to hang out. What's up?
Wait. What's going on with your download? It should be working.
Yeah, she had to
It's
update it
downloading
because of
slowly.
yeah, and she had to update it because she didn't play the test today, so she
Yeah.
has to get that update because that's another game mode that was added onto it.
Yeah.
So it has to do like another full like update, which is what I had to deal with earlier today too.
Was not expecting that. Sorry.
The client is large right now too well, I don't even know where it's at. It was around 32, 33 gigs before. Yeah, 32.87. It's a big download.
We're getting there. We're at 36% right now. I don't know if we'll make it to 100, but you guys do not have to wait for me. You guys can play if you want to play. It's not like I'm going to be able to do much anyways.
So
I've been practicing in the gunplay trainer personally. I don't know, what have you two been using?
I've been doing combat,
yeah, combat, and then I did a little bit of explore. I mean, obviously, if you've seen the video, was the last time I played it, other than the stress test today. But yeah, that's pretty much what I did. I was checking out to see like the difference between because there was interesting because at first I was like I'm flying a block of cheese in one one of it, and like the guy was like he had like a what was it, his like avatar popped out
The
like he was like
T-pose, yeah.
the T pose, so he was just sitting there just outside the ship. I'm like, what is this guy doing? When he get in the ship, when he's flying in and everything.
Last time I tried flying, I ended up dropping my guy out in space. Didn't know that was a thing. I think I just opened the door and my guy just slid out. Trojan stuff. We got Doug. I'm recording. Oh, he said 3 people on Twitch is illegal. Okay, well.
To the space police.
You're just jealous because you're not with us, Doug. That's it. We got cool kids right here. Right,
yeah, well, Doug, you missed out on a fun little stress test that they had earlier today. But from what Michael's saying is that they're probably gonna have one next week too. So we'll definitely they'll make me bust down the door. But no, it was exciting, man. Like I said, like I think I guess I think my next video will probably for you guys is to try out the racing because someone in the community was telling me about like, oh, try out the racing stuff, and there's a little bit more to it than just the shooting and then the exploration showroom. So I'm like, oh, I'm really excited to make more videos about there.
Yeah, just don't watch Ellie's videos before.
Dang.
The attack. What did I ever do to you? Yeah, right? Doug's like, why are you talking so much shit? This is my channel. You're not wrong.
It is.
But
It is.
Well,
I will be
Doug
quiet.
didn't say talking so much shit. He just said talking in general. But yeah, Ellie, take us away.
Yeah, as you see, Doug says he only watches Ellie videos.
Yeah, see? People want to see me crashing into stuff. Here we are.
You don't watch Yuki videos? Oh man, yeah, I must be doing something wrong. There, I don't have the Simpsons theme, man. So
You got another shout out. Mr. Trome says that the test was great.
I'm actually seeing.
Did I
I'm
say that right?
T Rome, Mr. T. He's on Rome.
That's fucked up.
I was just playing Helldivers earlier. Have you guys played that?
No, what's that?
Nah,
Web 2,
nah.
right?
It is Web 2. Yeah. I mean, I haven't played a whole lot of games recently, but this was one that I bought and purchased. A bunch of people are playing. Kind of a survival style gameplay, but you can pair up with up to 4 people on the team. It's fun. But
That sounds interesting.
yeah.
I've been wanting to check out, is it Left 4 Dead?
Oh, you never played Left 4 Dead?
Don't do that to me. Of course, we know I've never played.
That's true. That's true.
I've been making my way there shortly. Michael's had enough of having being on camera with us. He's dipped.
Oh wait, I tried to change my. I saw this. Doug asked why Star Atlas was backwards, and I changed it. And now I can't turn the camera back on. I might have to rejoin.
Ellie likes to leave people Left 4 Dead. Yes.
In the ring. Octagon.
In real life, you can all suck it because I'll survive while you're all stuck back there.
All right, I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave and rejoin and see if it fixes this.
See what you did, Doug? Yeah, it's Wagner, leave us. Congratulations.
God damn it. Damn it, Doug.
One job, man. We made
I just wanted to cause problems. You just caused all the problems, okay?
All
we were perfectly fine with the backward sign.
Backwards, everything. What am I at anyways? I'm at 44%. You guys are either, this is much better. Ellie is larger.
It's her chance. She's the one that had me large, so I had no idea. Like, I could have been small. It didn't really matter. She put me big, so.
Look at this stranger. Still not turning his camera on.
It's not working.
To be fair, we thought we were going to be playing, and then I messed up and didn't have the game ready. So you're welcome to go and enjoy the rest of your night, or you're welcome to come and chill with us with whatever we're about to do. Different game, same game, talk shit, up to you.
I'm just buying time right now for you guys.
Hi.
But I am leaving. I'm rejoining. Give me 1 second.
Doug, see what you did? We made a new friend.
Big blue, pretty blue eyes. I actually have hazel eyes, so I do get some blue. So, but yeah, right now it's probably like a green. Yeah, it's a green. Yeah, greenish. But you know, I Doug, you know, whenever you're like me, they look blue right now. Oh, they do. Interesting.
I just see reflection.
Yeah, it's just more reflections than anything, honestly, at this point.
So yeah. Now they're green. Yeah.
Yes, how'd you know that? No, Doug, you're like me, man. Anytime a camera's in front of you, it's we're making content.
Did we play the stress test yesterday? Well, the two important people did. Helldivers 2 is the game.
Only one of the two important people did.
I know. So I can have just hung around just because some people wanted him to.
Damn,
I was referring to you too. Yeah. You can got in though. Yeah. It was like I said, it was fun. I had a really good time. Again, you know, you have to have that mindset of going into something that can work, and if it's gonna work, then it's great. But like, you know, if there's problems, right? There's always bugs and things that go wrong with it. But you know, again, like at the end of the day, it was their first time really doing something like this, kind of what Michael was saying. So, you know, I didn't really have the highest expectation, but I was like, okay, I get to play with like close to 200 people. Like that's already like a, you know, achievement of its own. Yeah. I think we were talking about it a little bit before we went live, but that was really the purpose, was to stress test the technology and figure out what's broken so that we can go forward and fix those things and make them better and make it a more fun experience overall.
Oh, we got someone who says it was great, screw the glitch, but I've never played 160 people at the same time. Said it was fun, frustrating, but it was great.
That's what we shoot for, fun and frustrating.
That's all you want in life. Yeah.
What part of the game we played? Great. So it was like the showroom, like kind of what I put out in the video, and I guess what they've been showing lately was the showroom like area. That's kind of where it was kind of located at, but different factions was on different sides. So then everyone just kind of meet up in the middle. Warfare.
That was the idea. It was faction versus faction versus faction, 3 separate teams. When you kill people, you get tags or points, and you have to go to extraction points to capture those and save them or earn them for your team.
Is this going to be the gameplay style that's going to be the final thing? Or are you going to have kind of like lobbies and then you separate them?
That's hard to say. The idea is that we won't have lobbies. That's why we're testing out this hyperscale user concurrency today, is that you can just have these massive space battles. You mentioned that, right? So the ability to go out into space with a more RTS style management of an entire fleet of ships that you can then engage in combat with hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of other players. That's where we want to take this tech. But there is the third person shooter perspective on this as well. There's a really high degree of granularity in the game. So not only can you zoom way out into this RTS style of gameplay, but you can go all the way down into the ship, as you two have seen, explore the interiors of the ships, like go into the cockpit, sit down in the captain's chair, and start navigating an individual ship as well. And that's actually where I think this gets really cool, is if you're the operator of a large fleet of assets, now these are revenue producing or generating assets, it will be beneficial to have real players operating each one of those assets for you. Now, there will be some AI that will drive these ships as NPCs and be able to compete on your behalf. But if you have a real person in there, they can perform better because they're operating an individual asset versus the game AI operating multiple assets, right?
If you utilize AI, is it going to be something where like you have to use your in-game currency to hire them, or is it just going to kind of be a free-for-all of your choice?
That's a great question, and to some extent, every single game has AI incorporated in it. We're hearing the term AI a lot more now as people have greater access to the technology, but ultimately, like any level of NPC or game content that is not player controlled is AI driven. So there will be components of that, but what I do think is really cool, again, is if you're the operator of a large fleet, it's in your interest to employ people effectively. This gets into the economic architecture and the Web3 architecture, where you can pay somebody an hourly rate to operate a ship for you, in particular if they've been able to progress themselves up the licensing process to be able to navigate or operate larger assets. This is similar to how it works in real life, right? You can't just hop onto a mega yacht and be the captain of a mega yacht. You will crash a multi-million-dollar asset. And so within the game, you kind of have to start at the lower levels and then work your way up. And when you are better at being able to operate large assets, then you have the license to do it, you become in demand. And that could be a person from some emerging market somewhere in the world, Thailand, like the Southeast Asia is a region we're looking at a lot, but Thailand, Philippines, Vietnam, Cambodia, places where our GDP, and we just published cut me off at any point, but we just published this quarterly State of the Economy report, which we put out every quarter. It's been about 18 months running now, but we're producing an annualized GDP in the game of $32.1 million. That might not sound like a lot. I mean, it is actually quite a sizable GDP, and it places us something like 138th out of 195 or so countries in the world. Star Atlas, the Star Atlas economy is already outproducing on gross domestic product terms 33% of the countries in the entire world. Which means if you live in one of those countries, there is an opportunity to come participate in this new digital global borderless economy that we've built. And it's effectively free to come in and try. And again, if we get to the point where you operate a fleet and you need to bring in a captain and you've identified a person that is capable of flying your ship, well, you can pay them an hourly rate, or you can split revenue with them based on whatever that asset or that fleet is producing. That's extremely powerful. You can make more money playing Star Atlas than 33% of the countries in the world right now.
But the issue is the entering point, right? Like, to be able to run Star Atlas, you have to have a fairly strong computer to go at it. And most people in Southeast Asia are making $20 an hour or $20 a day. So how will they be able to even get in that position if they're unable to afford the computers to get to it? Will you have some kind of sponsorship program?
It's again a great question. So there's like the idea of the scholarship system. There's the idea of a fleet rental program that operates on chain that allows people to rent out assets to other players around the game. And typically maybe not typically, but this can be handled in three formats, which is either an hourly rate to rent the asset, it could be a fixed fee to rent the asset over a certain amount of time, or it could be more of the scholarship model, which says, I own the asset, I get to keep 40% of all of the revenue that's produced, but you're the player, you get to keep 60% of the earnings. Now, that player that is looking to establish themselves in the universe of Star Atlas, what do they do with that 60% earnings? It's possible that they cash out some of that. That would be reasonable. But if, again, we're able to produce a higher standard of living for them by engaging in this digital economy, then they cash some out, but they very likely reinvest a portion of that into the game as well. They're buying a ship for themselves that they actually own, right? So now they don't have to rent a ship anymore. So effectively, we provide this opportunity for people to establish a base of wealth for themselves within the world or within the universe. And then they can continuously produce as a result of that. Now, that gets into a very broad conversation around how long does the game persist and how does it evolve and who's responsible for all of that. And that's where our DAO structure actually steps in. I don't know if you want me to jump immediately into that, but the DAO produces revenue every single day because it captures a portion of revenue that exists in this entire economy. So that $32.1 million GDP, while there is a form of taxation that exists in the game through operations that allows the DAO to capture some of that income that is persistently flowing into the DAO treasury. And then all of the governance token stakeholders, Polis stakeholders, they're able to and this is theoretical right now because we don't have the governance structure fully online, which includes proposals and voting. My cat made a debut, as she always does. I'll wrap up quickly, which is just to say that the DAO brings in money through the game, and then the then the people that hold this Polis token have the ability to vote on how this treasury of assets, which is in excess of $5 million today, gets spent.
That's exciting because again, like you're giving people so much access. I mean, to play a game and to not only say that you're like 33% of like the revenue of population, that can literally be smoothing.
Your voice is so soothing that Doug Hype is getting turned on.
Okay.
Wagner, you.
Well, good. That was my
But
goal on the call today.
but like I said, like what you're doing right now, I think honestly is gonna definitely change a lot of people's lives. Whenever they have the opportunity to actually have these rigs and be able to, be in a situation where they can be able to rent stuff, then be able to reinvest into the game, then they can be their own owners, right? And then they can do it for other people as well. Then they're already income, and again, the huge ecosystem I think that is just going to evolve. And I'm kind of curious when it comes to like different planets. Is it going to be like, I know that you're going to have the planet that we're on right now, right? From the stress from the test. Is there going to be like different layers where it's like you're making more because of a different planet, or like you're getting it resources, or is it just like we're kind of all in here for now, and then whatever we can obtain, then that becomes like the economy of stuff.
Yeah, let me first address the computer requirement aspect of this. First of all, I think pixel streaming or remote GPU processing and then streaming to PCs is extremely promising. And there have been failures in the past. Even Microsoft with Stadia failed in their initiative of launching pixel streaming to mobile devices and browsers. But this is one facet of technology that I think will continue to evolve that will ultimately resolve this issue of if you don't have a high-end PC, how do you get access to a game like Star Atlas? That's particularly true for the Unreal Engine content, not so much true for where the economy really exists today, which is in the browser. Now, it's a pretty enough UI, but this is a gameplay style that is heavily targeted towards the most financially motivated people in the Star Atlas ecosystem, community, and economy today. So you can find this right now at labs.staratlas.com. Labs is was originally our developer testbed for on-chain gaming logic. Now, this is what's really cool about Sage Labs in the browser, which doesn't look anything like our Unreal Engine client. It's 2D, and again, you can access it just in any web browser with any internet connection. But everything from coordinates to movement to fleet management to inventory and localized inventory, extraction, crafting systems, combat systems coming on soon. All of these things are executed directly on Solana as part of our game logic. So we're like using the blockchain as our game engine in Sage. Again, not super cool from an appearance standpoint, but extremely cool from a technology standpoint and what we've been able to accomplish in that. And this is where players are engaged today in extracting resources, crafting items, using those crafted items to earn in the game. So everybody that's playing now earns Atlas or in-game currency. And if you're the type of person that gets attracted to, say, spreadsheet gaming or to statistical analysis or to logistical operations in the game, this is very much right up your alley, and it's all executed on chain. And the cool part about that, and the reason we've done this, is it allows anyone else to permissionlessly build their own applications and services on top of our game logic, because it's all executed on the blockchain. And so, I mean, we've already seen a number of different teams that have started to build their own services. And this could go from anywhere from more DeFi-like automation services of the way that you manage your ships to actual in-game functionality and wallet and profile management through a third-party team that lets you automate a lot of the activities that you have within Star Atlas itself in Sage. Now, I don't have any opposition to the idea of automation. And this is a bit controversial just because people are largely against the idea of bots. She wants
It
some
wants the
attention.
attention. Yeah.
People are largely against the idea of bots. However, the analogy that I often use is that of StarCraft. When you take your SCV and you mine crystals, you're not selecting your SCV every time. You tell them what you want them to do, which is go mine crystals and bring them back to the base and continuously do this until I tell you otherwise. That's automation. And doing a lot of those automated processes directly on the blockchain is actually pretty hard. And I think this is what's really cool about what we're building is you can go and do this. Anybody can actually go and do this. And people are right now building their own services that enhance the way the game plays. That's not us building it because we've got a ton of things to build. We have a massive scope and vision in front of us, but we've effectively created a system that employs and empowers anyone from around the world to build alongside us, to co-create with us. And it wouldn't be infeasible for these same groups to go and charge a fee, right? So if I have an automation service that allows you to mine consistently, you don't have to go into the game to stop mining, harvesting your materials, and then transporting them. You can actually set up these logistical chains through a third-party service. And if they were to charge a small percent of everything that you're generating, that would actually be completely fair, in my opinion. So it's a scenario where everybody largely wins. We win as a studio because there's all of these other services and enhancements to the game that are being built. The users get access to a bunch of new services, and the builders potentially have a revenue stream. What we've seen to date, though, is that everybody's doing it for free. They just they enjoy doing it, they're capable of doing it, and they just want to make things better, and they're not charging anything, which is insanely cool. Like, I don't know too many other technology companies that can say that.
That's awesome. Like I said, I'm really stoked and excited just because again, like just from the gameplay that I played so far, and also the stress test as well. Like I definitely see where your vision's at, and that's what makes me super excited. Right? Again, when talking before was like all the bugs and everything like that. Like I understand that it's going to take a bit for you to fully get things smoothed out, right? Especially on the planet that we're at, or the showroom that we're at. But to see more of what Star Atlas can provide, and having the currencies on being able to mine stuff and be able to craft things, and then flying with your crew and stuff like that, like it sounds really exciting. And I think that what you guys are doing is definitely having its own like it's just exciting. There's so much excitement with it. I'm just excited to even play the game again. So yeah.
So you recently went around Southeast Asia last year or the beginning of this year. What was the feedback? How was it when you did that?
It was largely or overwhelmingly positive. I was pretty surprised to hear about the amount of people that knew about us from 2021 that weren't very familiar with all of the things that we had been doing since then. Now, this is a natural correlation that exists when you're building in this like emerging technology space of Web3, where there's strong correlation to the market itself, because you have a lot of I would argue that the trader speculator is very much a component of our target market and our user base. Now, these are people that may not care about the game at all and may never play and may not even care how the game gets developed, but they've taken a position in tokens based on what they think we're capable of doing. Now, I will never go out and say we ever consider token prices as a component of our business execution strategy, because genuinely it's not. It's how do we go from where we are today to this grandiose vision that we've outlined for people that we believe and hope that we can accomplish. And it's just taking steps that allow us to ultimately get to that end goal of we're going to build something that is revolutionary and transformative. And all of the value and everything else associated with our ecosystem, it is inherent and intrinsic because we've built this incredible thing that nobody else could do. And that's what goes through my head every day. But your question was, how was the response? It was positive, but it was also informative in the sense that a lot of people told me that they were familiar with Star Atlas from 2021, but had no idea what it was that we've been up to. and we've built a lot. We've built an incredible amount of technology and gameplay products, and there's still a long way to go, but we've gone a long way. And so that's what I think is really important for us, not only this year, but going into the future, is how do we actually get all of these fans, these enthusiasts, up to speed on everything that we've created, because there's just so much substance behind all of it.
And you guys are building so rapidly as well. It's hard to, especially lately, it's going to be hard to keep up with it.
Agreed. Yeah, our team has been moving at a crazy pace. And that's in the face of a lot of reductions. We're smaller than we've been historically, but I would say far more efficient. In a way, that was part of the, if I want to look for a silver lining in the last 2 years, it's what improvements or what benefits have we been able to see from this. And it's quite obvious from my perspective that the team just has a very high velocity right now. Every person on the team knows what we're doing, knows what we need to do, and knows how to get there. And I'm the first to admit that I am not the specialist in anything. Every single person on the team knows a lot more than I do about what it is that they're doing and the specific impacts of those things. But I embrace that, because these are the people that are building the product ultimately, and they need to know more than me, and they need to be more impassioned about those individual tiny details that other people will notice, or even if they don't notice, it will have an impact on them. And yeah, our team is crushing right now. It's pretty crazy.
Are you reading the stream comments right now? You're getting lots of compliments.
I don't think I'm reading the stream compliments or comments. I am seeing some comments here, though.
Mr. Trom says that you're very humble and that you've built so much more than anyone has probably during this space. Or not during this space, but in general. And then Doug wants to know, what are the most charismatic elements of the game?
Charismatic elements? Well, if we're going to say charismatic, I would have to lean towards the aesthetic of the game, first and foremost. And
sure,
one of the things that we've done in Star Atlas, and she just will not stop.
I think you just need to pick her up and have her join at this point.
All right, she's here.
Congratulations, little.
So
Silent,
cute.
just like that.
One of the things that we've done since the beginning is distance ourselves and distinguish ourselves from the idea that sci-fi needs to be completely dystopian and cold and dark and metallic and well, cold is the best way to describe it. It's bringing real human emotion and liveness and warmth to the idea that we can encompass space, that we can explore a universe or a galaxy or expand beyond where we are today. I think it's one of the like an innate human desire to I would say in a way conquer, but it's really just about exploring and expanding and discovering new things. The human curiosity is just insatiable, and I think it's something that we can actually provide in Star Atlas is this opportunity to continuously discover an infinite universe, but you can in game physically traverse all of these distances because we can eliminate, those physical laws that exist around us about the speed of light and transportation of physical mass. So we don't, I think Elon is trying to go to Mars and beyond, I would assume. This to us is a seemingly insurmountable obstacle and challenge, but in Star Atlas, you can just go anywhere because we can eliminate all of those laws. But this is what's cool about space and space games in general is that ability to explore and expand. But yeah,
Yeah, so
aesthetically,
someone's saying that the game looks like it's like Starfield, like the graphic wise, looks really nice. And so yeah, so like, is it going to be
Yeah.
similar to like how Starfield kind of is, or maybe just the more of the exploration portion of
Was that
like,
the inspiration behind it?
or yeah,
I wouldn't say it was an inspiration. I think, if anything, I would, and this is really my co-founder's field. So Danny, Chief Product Officer, Game Director, manages all of the art and game direction across all of our products. But I think Star Citizen is largely the inspiration, but we've been defining ourselves as a simcade. So Star Citizen is more of this like space sim, space opera concept where there's a deep sense of realism in what it is that you're doing, and the graphical fidelity is phenomenal. It looks beautiful. So we want to bring those elements of like, realism and cinematography and graphical beauty across the game, but we also just want it to be fast-paced and fun. A lot of the games that have been successful through time have been able to get you immediately into an experience. And I guess a different way to say this is that we don't want you to have to wake up in your pod, in your bed in the morning, brush your teeth, and spend 10 minutes getting to your spaceship. Because while that's cool from a realistic standpoint, you just want to go play, right? Like I just want to go
right,
kill people. And like
yeah.
so it's that combination of simulation, realism, hyper fidelity with fast gameplay and letting the player come in and do whatever it is that they want. So yeah, we've still taken a largely contrasted approach to how we present the world, which is brighter and warmer and friendlier and realistic from the sense of I'm living on the ground right now, and what is Earth? like to me, and how do I react with the Earth and interact with Earth. There's still the dark elements of space, but that's not the overarching narrative around how a player plays, is living in this dark, cold world of space. I think Star Citizen is probably a core inspiration, but and I wouldn't say that Starfield was an inspiration at all, because genuinely I hadn't seen anything about Starfield before a year ago or so, maybe a year and a half, and um, we've started conceptualizing Star Atlas in 2020, so we're really well ahead of Starfield in what we wanted to build, but behind because they've spent 10 years building that game, and that's truly what it takes to build a triple A high quality immersive gaming experience. Movies take multiple years, and movies might cost, like, the biggest blockbuster titles might cost $100 million, or maybe 200 million. Realistically, what we're looking at is a minimum 350 to 400 million dollar budget to build Star Atlas, and twice the timeline. You need to not only be able to produce something that looks great on screen, but produce something that interacts well with the players as you go. And that's, if we were to go all the way back to why do we do the stress test today, and the results of the performance of that, we're collecting information. People that are playing now are contributing to the future potential of this idea.
Well, it's nice that you guys are at least releasing it stage by stage as you guys are going, rather than just kind of having people watch from behind the scenes. You're having people get involved, using them for feedback, and growing that way, which I think is super beneficial. It keeps people on their toes, know what's going to be next, how can they be next. These comments are funny, but yeah, I think it's awesome what you guys are doing.
Yeah, thank you. I like, in large part, the testing and building in the open is really about refining what it is that we build as we go. We can put the finer touches on a feature set because we know exactly what our community wants, because they tell us. They tell us every day, this is what we want to see, or this is what we want to be able to play, or this is what we want to see fixed. And there are a lot of broken things across the Star Atlas world, and that's actually challenging for me as a semi OCD person, of like striving for perfection all the time. But what I've needed to get comfortable with is a lot of things are going to be broken a lot of the time, because we have a bigger picture that we're moving towards. And if we focused on the finer detail day to day, you miss the bigger opportunity of excelling fast enough to get to that big end goal. When we get far enough along, then we can put the finer touches on everything. But for now, to me, it's just about ship what we have, get it out, get feedback, get people engaged, and iterate very quickly.
You guys mentioned that you might. Sorry, I've got cat hair all over me. You guys mentioned that you guys are going to be. You guys are going to be doing another stress test next week.
Yeah, I don't think it's announced, but probably Saturday.
Oh, sorry.
Same time. Yeah, spoiler alert. But
no one heard anything. But are you gonna try doing that like once a week, or are you gonna hope that this is going to be the final from what you guys learned from yesterday?
We're far from the final, not even close to the final. Ideally, we would be running this for 3 weeks, and then we have a we have a larger test, and that would be what we're looking at on the large test with up to 2,000 players, where we're actually promoting it, is incentivizing it so players can get a crew card, which we've never distributed before, by the way. We are looking at minting and selling crew packs, which produce crew members that can be your PFP, they can be crafting crew members in Sage, or in the future, you'll be able to use all of these crew members in our fitness app, which I know we've talked about, but the fitness app is essentially walk, run, bicycle, otherwise stationary train, and be able to progress or level up your character. So this is, if you're not sitting down at your computer and playing the game, or you're not playing Sage on the browser, if you want to get some exercise in, take one of your crew members and load it into your mobile phone, and now you're still engaged in Star Atlas and still playing. It's just through character progression. The cool thing about that, the coolest thing actually, one of the reasons why this is really exciting to me is because mobile as a hardware application has probably the broadest adoption globally of any type of technology. And so we have the opportunity to introduce to some 3-4 billion people around the world a new economy that they can participate in by playing with these crew members and leveling them up. And their entire experience within Star Atlas might just be leveling up characters and selling them to other players with the progression. And you have buyers of this convenience through other developed countries. But
When are you thinking of launching that? Are you allowed to tell us?
we, well,
the hesitation, probably not.
I'm not allowed to say anything. I just do it anyway. And then the team groans when they see this and they say, Mike did it again.
We heard nothing. Got that, everyone? We heard nothing.
NDA. Everyone's guy signed it.
Do it now, or we don't get Swagner back on here, okay?
I am comfortable saying that we are trying to get this out in the third quarter, but very possible it goes into Q4, very possible it goes into next year. I don't know just yet. We haven't fully prioritized it yet, to be honest with you. So, however, the mobile app is quite advanced. We have the whole front end completed. We have all of the logic, all of the gameplay mechanics, and the bottleneck right now is getting the actual on-chain logic executed. So what we need is our blockchain engineers to have some time to come in and build out those components for us. But otherwise, it's ready to go. There's still an outstanding question of approval on the app stores, because anything that has potential like crypto integration or third-party marketplace integration is pretty heavily restricted on Apple specifically. They want their 30%, of course, which is understandable. But anyway, the point of that is that there's a few things that we still need to go through, but I'm excited about it when it does come out.
I'm excited.
I'm excited again, just by hearing all that other stuff about like the mobile phone. Again, for someone like that is working a full-time job or anything like that, or being away from your computer, to have access and being able to have that companion next to you, at all times, which is really awesome and extremely exciting. I'm actually kind of curious to seeing what kind of characters are you building. Are you gonna have some like spicy characters that are going to be super interactive and they're going to be like memorable? Because again, for me, it's like, you'd always remember a certain person or a certain, character in a game that you're like, oh, like I love going back to them and hearing what they have to say with voice acting or their craziness, what they have in the world. Because again, you have a world that's literally endless of personalities, right? So would love to hear if you have any plans with anything like that.
I think that one of the coolest aspects of the crew members is that they are, well, for one, we're looking at probably a 10 million crew member mint, which is just crazy in terms of CNFTs in the first place. Nobody's done a 10 million asset mint. there's a reason for that. About 2.5 million of those are pre-allocated or pre-committed as a liability to people that own ships right now. Now, there will be a point in time where if you buy a ship from the marketplace, you don't receive the crew and you don't receive various upgraded components. Right now, you do. And so there will probably be a rush on assets at some point when we make that announcement. But for everybody that holds an asset today and before we make that snapshot or cutoff date, everybody that owns a ship will receive crew members commensurate with the amount of crew members that they have. And every ship has a different quantity of crew members associated with it, but we'll most likely see about 2.5 million crew members go out distributed to wallets as a result of that. I would emphasize that in order to operate your ships in the game, you need to have fully staffed ships. So questions have come up around like, well, are those people going to sell their 2.5 million crew members? And while they could, they would immediately disable their cash flowing earnings potential off of the game, because if you don't have all of the crew members that you need for a ship, you can't use that ship in Sage, which is where the highest earning potential is right now. So most likely, most people are going to hold all of their crew members, and in addition to that, they're going to buy more because the crew members are beneficial in crafting recipes. The more crew members you have, the shorter your crafting times, and by and large, being able to craft is a critical mechanism to earnings potential in the game. So I'm a bit off track here now. I went down some rabbit hole. I don't. But these crew members are pretty powerful and pretty cool, and I think that they're going to be in quite high demand. And we're looking at launching those in a couple of weeks.
I want to get my hands on one of those. I'm gonna be hunting them down.
Absolutely.
Oh, I didn't even mention. Yeah, the crew members are also your PFP in the Web3 space. And now I'm recalling. Your question was about like characteristics and backstories.
We got there. You came around and we got there.
The wheels just needed to turn a little bit longer, but here I am and ready to talk about it. But what's really cool about these is that there is procedural generation throughout not only the attributes, the aptitudes, the characteristics, the aesthetic, but all of these, every one of these 10 million crew members will have a unique backstory that's also AI generated. So it's not a single person that's writing all 10 million stories, but the crew member that you end up acquiring through opening a crew pack will have a unique backstory. It will be a one of one. And you can
Wow.
actually build a legacy for that crew member in the game, because, if it's, Yukin's or Ellie's ship that you are flying around with, and you have a captain that you've designated, and then you've gone and, you're one of, or you're two of 10 people that conquered the first territory in the medium risk zone. There's a story there that is recorded on chain,
Wow.
which
That's
is
amazing.
insanely cool. So
Yeah.
your gameplay, like what you do with your asset in the game, has a real long-term impact on how people evaluate what it's worth. Does somebody want to buy Yukin's like small ship before you upgraded to a medium because you were able
It's
to
all
do
about you,
something? It's possible. That's the thing. That's what's cool.
Yeah. No, I like it. I like. Well, I'm actually so like for instance, so someone bought my small ship, right, and they went going up to a medium. Like, so for instance, the crew members there, are they going to tell my story about like we explored this and everything like that, or is that just kind of like we're starting fresh, like, hey, like I've gotten this experience from this crew member or whatever. He was great. Now he kicked me to the curb and he wants to find new ones. Like, is it going to keep that same lore of like what their experience is?
Your ship and your crew member are completely configurable. So when you sell your ship, you're not selling everything unless you want to. You could package everything together. This is the idea. You can package your crew, your components, all of your upgrades, any progression that you want to associate with it. You can package that up and you can say, this is the asset that is for sale that is completely unique and customized per my gameplay. Or you can say, I'm stripping all of the components, all of the crew members, any single upgrade. I'm taking all of that, and all I'm selling is the ship that I flew. And you can buy that from me, and then you have to put your own crew on it. But the goal here is to provide you with the flexibility to make the decision of how do you want to package what it is that you're selling, and can we facilitate a mechanism of bartering that allows the new player to come in and say, well, hang on a minute, I want your small ship, but I also want your captain. And this is what I'll offer you for it. But you can imagine that there are essentially every single asset in the game is completely unique. Did anybody else own Ellie's ship that she went and took on 10 missions with a specific crew and maybe killed in a bounty hunting contract some notorious player?
Move aside. That's
No.
the most impressive thing I'm probably going to do.
I have high hopes for you. I have high hopes.
Oh, dear.
But look, I mean, the idea is that asset is completely unique. So that's where this game blossoms into such like a high degree of individuality. And maybe that won't matter. It might not matter at all in the short term, but in a long enough time frame, like those things will start to have importance. And this could be 20 years from now, which is okay. That's what we're building for, though. And that's what allows Star Atlas to be this thing that just exists forever, is like so many people are so impassioned by the idea of living in a new digital universe, and we're providing it.
Yeah, you guys seem like you're taking every angle that people can be involved and putting it all into one game, which is really cool.
I think it's a super good point, and kind of another rabbit hole, but not only can we build, our style of development is intrinsically a modular approach, which means we're like building little games that we believe to be feature complete gameplay modalities. Racing is our big release this year. Hover racing, combat hover racing, and just competitive racing, multiplayer. Well, we're not a racing game, but we're building a best in class, essentially pod racer or Mario Kart of our generation. And we're delivering that. And there will be a lot of people that will be attracted to that gameplay mode. And we can actually build out sophisticated economics that tie in the way that Sage operates, the way that the mobile app operates, the way that people play this racing game. If I were to go back to crew members, for example, if you have a leveled up crew member and you slot that into your ship through ship configuration alongside some other enhanced modules or components that you've been able to craft or earn or buy from some other player, well, now you have a customized ship to participate in racing, and your entire objective of gameplay is figuring out, how do I win? And this could be a skill-based betting mechanism or some loot pool that exists in a tournament, but you're playing, and if you get first place, you win real money. Effectively, you earn Atlas, the in-game currency. But guess what? You have to repair your ship because it got beaten up while you're racing, and you need fuel to make sure you're ready to race the next time, and maybe you need to feed some crew members or something through food. Well, all of those resources are only produced by other players in the game. We don't sell those. So now
Interesting.
you have people that are in Sage that are mining hydrogen and mining biomass and producing fuel and producing food, and they're selling it to players that are engaged in racing. But that is just one gameplay mode, and we have this potential to just continue building into an infinite future of exciting gameplay modes in this supermassive, hyperscale MMO in space, which, by the way, is again effectively limitless in how far you can go and explore. And on top of that, if that wasn't enough, we can just what we can do is build out tangential worlds that allows other teams to build an exclusive experience within the Star Atlas universe. So I was talking about Helldivers earlier. Imagine Helldivers overlaid on Star Atlas, where maybe there's 3 or 4 different planets that need to be recaptured. And when you take your ship out to this planet, you dock at a spaceport, you transport yourself into an entirely new gameplay environment. You actually go from Star Atlas to a new game within Star Atlas.
That's amazing.
A seamless transition where you can have battlegrounds, you can have survival games, you can have extraction games, you can have exploration games, maybe even have other MMOs, like a fractal of MMOs.
Would you guys be planning on doing something with like VR in the future? Because I know with like having the blockchain and everything integrating the ecosystem and all that stuff. Like I think VR would definitely be something, maybe an interest in the future. But is that something that you guys are looking towards? Maybe like the next couple of years, obviously getting this, on the ground first, rolling.
I think it's a very real possibility. We've done some experimentation with it so far. I don't know what the limitations are, to be honest with you, and I don't know what the transition looks like to enable full VR capabilities in Star Atlas. But I will say that Epic and Unreal Engine is making pretty incredible progress towards a fully integrated metaverse concept, and even like certain VR plugins that are starting to come out for Unreal Engine, our team has played around with. Nothing that I would say is, we're moving into VR. I wouldn't say that today, but the potential exists using Unreal to perhaps kind of flip a switch where VR is just activated in the game with all of our current development. But yeah, I think it would be a disservice to say we're not pursuing VR in any way. It's just that where we are today in VR and how you can build a game around it, and even the hardware. I think even moving around in physical space with VR right now is less than optimal for having like a great immersive experience. But when we get to the point where we have these 3D or three-dimensional treadmills, or 360-degree treadmills at a minimum, where you can kind of move around and run, but you're stationary, and it feels like you're in the game. That's where it gets a lot more exciting to me. And again, the level of granularity here could get crazy, where you're flying a ship. You could maybe feel like you're in your ship. You land on a planet, and then you exit your ship and complete some mission that is totally first-person shooter, third-person shooter in VR, where you feel like you're doing this. And what if you burned 1,000 calories while you were completing a mission? This becomes an exercise or like fitness application all of a sudden.
Be the new Wii Fit. That was big and
Totally.
popular back when.
Totally.
I think you guys have so much to focus on right now to like complete, and by the time you guys are ready to move on to the next project, say that is VR, VR will probably, wouldn't be surprised if it was at that stage.
Yeah, I mean, you got me at a point where I'm just talking about everything and anything that is like very big picture.
We're getting all the secrets.
Yeah, right.
It's not even secrets. This is just all extremely theoretical where I would love to see it go. Getting from where we are to these big ideas is exceptionally difficult and groundbreaking in so many ways. So how many times can you create groundbreaking technology?
I have
That's
no doubt that
debatable.
you guys are going to definitely do it. Anyone's going to do it in this space. You guys are definitely got that foot in the door there.
What's really cool is if we can continuously produce successful modules that actually attract people and engage people, and it continues to produce revenue and income for us, then yeah, we can essentially do anything with enough money and enough, well, with the right people with enough intelligence, you can do anything. There is nothing that is off bounds.
This is going to be so cool to see what you guys whip out. The next year, it's going to be wild with the growth that you guys have.
Yeah. Even the year ahead is we have an insane year. It's extremely promising on the release front. April 2nd, which is
like 2 days from now.
2 days away. A big update to the browser game, Sage. We're calling it star-based, and it's a new mechanism for extracting resources, crafting, and then constructing or upgrading star bases, as well as maintaining these star bases. New economic model coming online alongside that. Player progression, so you're actually earning XP. You're earning something called LP, loyalty points, which go into a loyalty points store. Right now, you're using those loyalty points to redeem for Atlas directly, but in the future, there will be other assets and like things that you can do with the LP. And LP is essentially a way for us to track how much have you contributed to the growth of your faction economy over a specific period of time, an epoch, which right now is on a 24-hour basis. But that's all coming online April 2nd. It's looking really good. We did the stress test today. We have a lot of improvements of Unreal Engine over the course of the year. We will have a big private beta test kicking off, likely sometime in July. And we're anticipating a bigger public open access launch in late Q3, early Q4. Crew packs coming out. We have a lot more. I've already shilled, I think, enough of what it is that we're doing, but we do have an absolutely insane year of like very big meteoric ground shifting updates coming out that take us from a lot of the earliest ideas of what we thought would be possible to, hey, we've actually done it. Here are the real things that we said we were going to do, and we've done it now. But economy's activated, gameplay is activated, different ways to access, different ways to experiment, and a lot of optionality of how you participate in Star Atlas today. And it really is a super wide net of the type of individual that is interested in participating.
That's so exciting. Again, I think you guys are going to absolutely kill it. Just even with this year and next year and the years after. Because again, from what you guys are, from what you told me, even from behind the scenes and everything like that, like I'm super excited. Just for the opportunity of having a game that has so many layers around it. It's not just the exploration portion, but again, allowing people to have actual income inside the game, and because spending your time and value into the game definitely will have some type of currency, or being able to have crews and the mobile app. I mean, like there's so many layers that you can do with this, and I'm really excited. I know that's, again, Web3 has been crawling and craving for Star Atlas for years, and we're like, where's the gameplay, where's all this stuff, and you guys have been behind the scenes ready to show us. And obviously we got a little test of it today, in also the game that you can play right now. So I'm really excited for what you guys are going to be doing for this year and all the other years after that.
Thanks, man. It's hard stuff. Like what we're doing is exceptionally hard, but we are chipping away at it, and I think we have a lot to show for it today.
Absolutely.
You're not going to do the same test at 1 a.m. next week, are you? You guys are killing me. Change it.
I asked to move it back 2 hours just for you.
That's all I ask.
So 3 a.m.
Oh, that way. Oh, fantastic. When you put it that way, I'll show up for sure. I was in bed by 7:30 and I was like, I can't do this.
Wait, I thought we were going to play. We didn't play anything.
I invited you guys up here. It's been downloaded. We got into some juicy topics. We can still play. I'm down. But we have
I got things to do, unfortunately, at this time. But thank you, Michael. So I can't talk right now. I don't know why.
All right.
No, but
I've got you choked up.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I'm so choked up just hearing all the great juicy information I've been receiving. Honestly, again, showing to the audience and here in the chat. I mean, literally, it's just it's absolutely amazing. And I think that, again, I think a lot of people should kind of keep you in that radar still, even though, like, again, there hadn't been much gameplay or stuff happening, but I know that you guys have, honestly, have been building the stuff behind the scenes. And again, I think a lot of people are going to really understand and appreciate just some of the little things, again, from what I've played, about like opening up the door, being inside the cockpit, being able to see like the little things that you can put guns in the side and then close it, everything that just seems very much interactive. And again, a lot of explorations games don't really have that, and you guys are building something that is going to be very much like, it's simple, but also like, you're feeling like you're actually there. And I really appreciate all the work that you guys have done. But I gotta go. I appreciate you, and Ellie, thank you so much for having me as well. Chat, I love you guys.
This was so unintentional, so thanks for jumping on, both of you guys.
No, of course, yeah, no.
I do want to go on record and say this was totally improvised. This was not planned at all.
No, we did not plan this.
This was like, hey, let's hang out, and it turned into a very decent AMA, very juicy AMA.
I think it was let's hang out, and then all of a sudden we started streaming live.
I gave a warning before everybody jumped on the call. Do not even start. Said jump on the call. I will be streaming, and YouTube popped up. Don't be pulling that with me.
Yeah,
I'm very happy that you guys showed up, though. Nonetheless,
it was fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have fun if you guys are gonna play it. Hopefully, get to see some more gameplay. And hopefully Michael can show some of the cool things that hopefully I can see behind the scenes, and we're like, oh yeah, I need to do this on my next video. So I can definitely check it out myself.
All right.
I will show you all of the exploits to the gun training.
Hold up, I can't miss out on that now.
On the next episode.
On the next episode.
We go live.
All right. Well, I'll see you guys later. Love you guys. Have fun.
All right. I'm going to take off
See you later.
Bye, guys.
All right. Thanks, guys, for joining.